There's two Indians, and they're sitting by a fire, and the two Indian chiefs. And the one Indian chief, he was thought, you know, everybody in the West at the time loved to have this guy come over because him and his group made rain happen. The other chief had him over and was visiting, and they were just about ready to leave because it had started raining. And the chief that was there says, "Come on, tell me how you make rain." And he says, "That's simple." He says, "You guys invite us over. We got everybody asking for us." He says, "We drink with you. We eat with you. We stay here with you. We hunt with you. We party with you. We pray with you." He says, "We get together, and when it starts raining, we're out of here." So I'll tell you a story about a rainmaker. Because when I started my career, it was a long time before I'd like to say. And I dedicated myself to the agent community. And I made a lot of people a lot of money in my career. There was one guy that I couldn't get rid of. He was at every event. He was everywhere I looked. Even when I hopped on a plane, as my career got better and I sold more, I kept going up the airplane, and I'd get into first class, and there he was, sitting right there all the time. He was a guy by the name of Jack Canford, and he was a partner with Lou Rube. And Jack, every time he would see me, he says, "Henry, you're blowing it. You could be with us. You got to come with us." And I say, "Jack, I got a meeting. I got to go. I got to run. I got to. And when I think back, if I just listened to Jack, do you realize how rich I would be today? You imagine how much residual revenue I would have had if I'd have done that? It's got to be astronomical. Over 30 years of going to all these meetings, if I had just stuck close to Jack, I would have been very wealthy. Well, at the end of the road, I went to see Jack. And I said, "Jack, I got this great idea. My partner's been working on it for 15 years. It's a great tool that every agent can use and make them wealthy." Because there's companies out there pouring millions of dollars into dashboards. And when I worked for General Electric, I went through the best training in the world. I went through Six Sigma, and I got my degree in IT, and I did all the things that were necessary. But I learned that for an agent to take control of their customer, they have to control the billing. They have to see the billing. They have to feel the billing. And that's what this product does. It's going to give you the tools that you need in order to compete levelly in the marketplace. And instead of some big company coming along and taking your base right out from underneath of you in the future, it's going to give you the opportunities to be able to put it together. So Jack introduced me to Dan. And 3.5 years ago, I had a meeting with Dan and Jack. And we've been working on this product, getting it right, perfecting it, developing it, evolving it, right, testing it, you know, to the point that we became a platinum distributor for AT&T. I will be going to their conference, to their presidential club, and I will be attending their national conference. In September, I go to San Diego. I'll be in Dallas in October. And so, as we went along, Tom and I worked at 3 companies together. One of them, we were the first employees in Florida with Sprint. We opened up all their offices. I interviewed hundreds and hundreds of people in my career as we went along. And the one reason that I stuck close to Tom was an ingredient that he has, that this company has, TCG and Dan, and it's called loyalty. They're loyal to their customers. They're loyal to their agents. And Tom is loyal to his family, his friends, and it was the one single ingredient that a person had that separated them from the best. And I always found the best employees And the best people were the ones who were loyal. So with that said, I want to introduce you to Tom Buck.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Henry. I also want to thank everybody for showing up today. I know you got your busy lives, so I'm going to move through the presentation fairly quickly. And what I'd like to do is ask that when you have some questions, jot them down, and in between segments of the presentation, we'll go ahead and open it up for questions. And before I begin, a big thank you also to Dan and TCG. I'm going to tell you that to become a TCG vendor, if you will, a partner, it's not just as easy as saying, hey, I want to become one. You have to be vetted. You have to be doing the right things at the right times. And I'd met Dan about a year ago, presented to him our services. The presentation went well. He liked it. We got together. We said, let's follow up on this. And some time had passed, and I came to a lunch and learn, and Dan pulled me aside and said, Tom, the time's right. The time is right for this service. You need to come in here. We need to do business. And again, it's a testament that we're here today presenting this, because there are a lot of folks that aren't going to be here, that aren't going to present here. Some bad actors, some people that just aren't suited for TCG. But we're here today, and we're real proud of that fact. Today, I'm going to talk about DP Access. I'm going to talk about solutions provider, agents, you guys, and TCG, and how we'll work together to provide the agent community with a fantastic opportunity to make money while providing a tremendous service to you and your customers. I had to write that down, and I had to read it because I was too afraid I was going to mess it up, because it's a powerful statement. And I think that once we get through with this presentation, you're going to have a clear, crystal clear understanding of what we do and how we do it and how you guys can make some money at it. So if you look at this first slide here, what is the DP Access mission, right? Well, we got together, and as Henry said, he's dedicated most of his life to the agent community. There's nobody that really knows the agent and the agent community more than him. And he says, Tom, what is it in it for the agents? How are they going to make money, right? So we created a money-making platform for the service provider agents, you guys. We did that by creating a consolidated billing platform, a consolidated platform as a service. And that's probably the first time you're going to hear that today, because nobody really looked at that. Billing's always been kind of a dirty word out in the industry, because carriers for years and years and years have erroneously billed customers, as you all know. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But it's gotten worse now. It really has gotten worse. Back when Henry and I worked for a small fiber optic company here in Florida, I was a sales rep, he was a sales manager, and one of my customers, the company had overbilled them by $50,000. And I'm looking at the bill, shaking my head, and I said, well, shoot, I got to take this in. I went to my customer service rep. I said, there's a mistake, we billed him. He shook his head, yeah, okay. We took it to Henry. Henry took it to the executives of the company and said, we overbilled this customer. The executives of the company at that time said, don't worry about it, we'll take care of it. And we scratched our heads, not knowing what was going on. But that's what's happened, that's what's going on. And now, I'll tell you another brief story. We had to move some toll-free service over to a carrier, from one carrier to the next, and we got the proposal. It looked fantastic, right? $2.50 for the toll-free numbers, 2.5 cents a minute for the usage. Where do I sign? This is great. I'll move it all over. Everything goes great. We move it all over. We get the bill. One of the sites billed $25 in usage, but they also billed $50 in taxes, junk fees, invoice fees, and every kind of other fee that you could possibly imagine. Now, Dan, do you get paid on all those junk fees and taxes and surcharges? No. Okay. Somebody does. What's happening now is you've got billing platforms that are being used to create a whole bunch of money for the carriers themselves. What we're going to do with our billing platform is turn that around and allow you guys, the agents, to help us create line items on your customer's invoice to bill legitimate charges, okay? Legitimate charges. So we'll talk a little more, a fair amount on consolidated billing as a service. AT&T Mobility, we have an unbelievable platform right now for AT&T Mobility. There's almost no work on the agent's part to do this, and it's almost instant money with no network changes for the customer. We'll talk briefly a little bit about vehicle asset tracking and advanced dashboard monitoring. So, consolidated billing as a service, right? Money coming in. We sat around, we said, look, this is hot. This is money coming in. What we did was we created a standard service for our customers. And I think, if I can just kind of regress for just 1 minute, when you look at consolidated billing and when you say, well, what's consolidated billing? Well, it's real easy, right? We all have our preconceived notions that it's real simple. It's just taking a bunch of invoices and putting them on one single invoice. That's the definition right there. But I will tell you that, because since I've presented this service for the last 15 years, it generally takes about half an hour for customers to fully grasp the power of this service and fully get it. And even then, until they actually have it and are experiencing it live, then they have the aha moment and then they get it. And we're going to throw it out here today for about the first 10 agents that come to us. We're going to give your office our platform so you'll be able to see it, feel it, touch it, and present it to your customers. So see Henry and myself afterwards. First 10 guys that come up to us, ladies, we'll go ahead and do that. So what's the service, right? What do we do? Well, the first thing is a setup and an onboarding process where you simply get an LOA from the customer that says, okay, we're going to change the address of these invoices. They're now going to come to DP Access. From that, once those invoices come in, we're going to place that on our billing platform, which we have a sophisticated billing platform that allows us to be able to do that. DP Access will pay the bill, and the customer gets a dashboard access, which I'll show you shortly. Okay, now on top of that, that's like your entry level, right? That's how you get the service, the standard bundle A, if you will. But if you think about it, right, what else is there that we can charge the customer for services that we provide, right? Well, the first thing that's going to happen once they get their invoice is on that invoice it will say, hey, we've looked at all your invoices and we feel that through the audit analysis that we've conducted, we can save you an extra $1,000 a month or $2,000 or whatever it is. And for a small line item charge on a monthly basis, we'll be glad to make that happen for you. So there's an audit piece associated with this, because after all, we are a small telecom expense management company with some pretty big powerhouse engines behind us. They're going to look at the existing invoices and match that to the contract. What about carrier interface? Who does all your moves, adds, and changes for your customers today? I bet some of you actually do a lot of that work yourself. Why not create a line item that we can charge the customer on a monthly basis for that? Advanced dashboard management control, bundling of the services. Find a way to bundle all those services and charge for that line item, which you guys, instead of the carrier getting paid, you guys will share in the commissions on all of that. Invoice cloud storage, and then for some of the larger companies, we do an individual case-based pricing together so that we can figure out, well, what are we going to do, how much are we going to do, and what should we charge?
So Tom, real quick, so let's say, for example, you sell cameras in here, and you sell a camera system to a customer.
Right.
You want to bill that customer $350 for that camera system a month.
Right.
They can do that through your billing.
Exactly, yes. Yes, and those are the kind of things we can get creative with this. Keep in mind, okay, we're very conscience and we're conscience driven. We're about legitimacy here. This isn't about doing the wrong thing. We're doing the right thing here. We're going to do legitimate billing on this, and that's very important to keep that in mind. Okay, so advanced platform. What will this do for your customers, right? Why is this so significant? What's the real power behind this in you? Well, there's some carriers out there now today that when you turn a customer over to them, they don't view you as really much of anything. You got them the business, they'll pay you some commissions, but it's their customer now, thank you very much. And heaven forbid if you should try to take that customer away from them, who knows what could happen, up to and including you getting banished from them and no more commissions. Okay? This way, we're giving you the opportunity to become the single source responsibility, to be able to keep vendors and suppliers and other agents out for that matter. Okay? And this is really critical because both Henry and I come from a background of sales reps. So we know what it's like. You're out there and to get a sale and to bring a sale in. And we also recognize the fact that they're not really our customers so much as they are your customers. Okay? And that's very important for you to understand our philosophy on that, because it's not the way it is with a lot of other rebillers out there, or carriers. The dashboard, which we're going to talk about briefly here too. It provides instant financial access to forecasting, budget statements, management controls, and profits. Key, profits, right? As a small to medium-sized business, I know sure enough that at the end of that month or before, I want to know how much money I have so that I can, number one, cover my bills and maybe take some shareholder distribution or pay out some bonuses, whatever it may be. And the thing that I think how we developed this over time was, you guys know and have seen telecom expense management companies. These guys have unbelievably sophisticated software platforms that can crank out reports and information that honestly you need a semester of college to fully understand and grasp. Okay? That's not what we're about. What we're about, we set about and said, what do we want that we need to manage our customers? And that's the information that we give our agents and our customers access to. Basic stuff that people can understand immediately. They don't need to go to a class to figure it out. And you'll see what I'm talking about coming up here. Security, right? You can't go anywhere, you can't go any presentation without talking about security. These are invoices, they're invoices, and the invoice is all cloud-based, it's all cloud storage. I don't know about you guys, but the way we run our companies now, if my PC's gone and whatever happens to it, I don't really care. I'll just download some new software because everything is on the cloud. And that's how your customers and yourself will access all this information. It'll all be securely stored on the cloud. Prompt evergreen payments of accelerated revenue. Henry, let me ask you this. How many years at Comcast? 5 years. Okay. Who all, of course, this is a dumb question. How many people, everybody has placed orders with Comcast in this room, I'm sure. How long does it take, generally, to get that order through the whole system, if in fact, some construction might be required? 120 days, maybe? 60, 120 days, if you're lucky? Then it has to bill, then the commissions come out. Could be as much as, I'm as fast as TCG, with all due respect, gets it out quickly. A lot of that is contained in that. So you don't get commissions right away because it has to actually bill, construction, all that. This is, hey, we get the invoices, we post them, 60 days later, or a little more maybe, whatever that is, you're getting paid. Okay, this slide here is a little imposed. It's hard to read. Doesn't come out real well. This is our invoice here. All these are line items that we put on our invoice. Those are all your line items that we can place on this invoice. And I can guarantee you're not going to see this much of junk fees and all kinds of other garbage that you're not getting paid on. These are all things that you're going to get paid on. This right here is a brief snapshot of our dashboard, and I'll have a better picture of that. It's just that when you press this button on the dashboard, up pops your invoice. So you've got access to all your invoices right from your dashboard. One invoice, single source provider, combine all customer cable charges on a single invoice. Dan, we talked about this. You got a customer, 200 says, hey, we're going with cable. We want cable in all our offices. 200 invoices. Can you imagine the look on the accounts payable and the accounting department when you tell them that they're going to have 200 invoices flooding that department, that they're just getting through the day, hopefully get a little lunch in or whatever? Okay, where are those invoices going to go? Who's going to open them up? Cynthia, how many of them are going to have errors on them when they open them up, right? And who's going to pay them all?
So Tom, let's say hypothetically you have a 50 location customer. They've got 50 different cable bills because we all know it's not all going to be Comcast. It could be Spectrum, it could be Suddenlink, Mediacom, it could be a bunch of different providers. plus maybe they have a POTS line at each location, so they're getting a bill for a POTS line, plus they're getting like a VoIP invoice. What would you do with that customer?
First thing we would do would get the LOA, all important LOA. Once we got the LOA, we'd get copies of all their invoices. We take all those invoices, change the address on all those invoices so they come to us. Think about how powerful that is, because now all that mail that was going to those customers, I hope I answered your question, all that mail and all those advertisements, they no longer come to them anymore. They're coming to you as a single source provider. So once we get all those invoices in-house, then if they take advantage of the audit fee, they'll be all audited, and then we put them on a single invoice, as we saw before. We pay those invoices on behalf of the customer, and we give them one single invoice.
So instead of getting hundreds of invoices, they're gonna get one bill from you guys, one stroke, one check to cut, done.
Exactly.
So they pay you and you pay the vendor?
That's correct. Yes.
And you handle all the disputes with the carriers directly or the vendors directly? In the event that, say, the bill you got from the carrier, there's a big discrepancy on it.
Yes, and that's when I talk about line item charges. Yes. Yeah, we do. Add all other carrier invoices, as Dan said, whether it's POTS lines, whether it's whatever it is, we'll do that.
So if you're an IT guy, sorry to cut you off, so if
Sure.
you're like an IT guy and you manage their IT infrastructure, and you've got to do all the invoicing yourself, you could feasibly say, if you have a nice customer like this, hey, put $1,000 for my invoice onto that bill. I mean, is that possible? Or?
You could, again, yes, yeah, and that's something that we probably want to take offline, individual case basis. So yeah, we have a lot of flexibility. With this billing platform, we've got a tremendous amount of flexibility to do some pretty cool things. Invoice stored on the web portal for ease of access, simplified dashboard analytics, inventory and agreements, right? How many times have you looked around and said, well, where is that agreement? Or what is the inventory? Does anyone have an inventory? Those are things that we store up on the website as well, on our web portal. Okay, this, again, it's tough because we did a screen share of this. This is actually the dashboard that shows, if I jump right over here, this shows the invoices here. There's also a filter there for Comcast. We put Comcast in, boom, boom, boom. It pulls up all the Comcast invoices. You hit over here, this is a button for view, and the invoice comes up. So the customer has access to all his invoices whenever he wants to see them. They're all there. Let me go to the next. Sure.
So you're sucking in the contracts, the invoices. Do you keep track of when that contract is, let's say, 3 or 6 months out from expiration, and notify us as the agent? That customer to you?
That's a good question. We really would like the agents to kind of keep track of that, because it's pretty, we're certainly giving everybody all of that information. I would have to take that one as something that, some good feedback for us to see whether that might be the case. But I think right now,
The agent's got access to the portal.
yeah,
No, but, so we're working
yes,
1,000 different deals. It would be really nice to get an email saying, hey, Joe Schmo's car dealership is, their contract is about to expire. You may want to go talk to them.
I think that's an excellent idea. We're going to take it down and bring it back to our developers. Yeah.
I wouldn't think.
No. Yeah, it's good.
Because we know exactly when the agreement went in. All the agreements are on the cloud. In addition to the fact that we know when it was contracted, and we know when it's going to come up for renewal. So
Right.
it's a simple.
Yeah.
3 months before, 4 months before.
It's excellent, good feedback, and we'll take that back.
The 3 months before, even 6 months before on a big deal, you would want to tickle that and start working it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not a-
Sorry, we had another question.
So you would also then manage all of the due dates then, right?
Well, that's what he's saying, and that's something that
No, that's contract dates.
contract dates.
I'm talking about the actual monthly due dates. You got Comcast asking for their money on the first.
Oh yes. Oh no, yeah.
Consolidate all that?
Absolutely. We're the bill pay. You're talking about the bill pay feature.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. We don't allow late fees, late payments, none of that stuff.
You guys will also handle discrepancies within, that was mentioned earlier, within
Yeah.
one bill. Not pay that one bill because of a discrepancy, but pay all the other bills, or is it an all-in-one?
Well, you know, again, this is what our business is, right? Telecom expense management. Generally, you know, if we're finding invoices or errors and omissions on invoices quickly enough, you know, there's that process of saying, okay, we're going to withhold X amount of money on this. Do we do that all the time? Sometimes not. Sometimes we'll wait for the credit to come through. It will eventually come. You're going to get your credit. There's no doubt, you know, no doubt about that. That's going to happen. So this is a screenshot of the actual dashboard. When the customer or you come into our website, you're going to get this as it opens up here. This right here is January, February, March, April. So you get a snapshot, a bar graph of exactly what your invoices are doing today, which is a phenomenal tool. And again, we really built this based on our ability to manage our customers and took 30 years or 60 plus years combined telecommunications to come up with this. It's very simple, very intuitive. We only have, 4, 5 icons up top, the dashboard, invoice, inventory, agreements. That's really about it. This will tell you right here, if you look, all of a sudden there's this, I guess that's teal, whatever you want to call it. Boop, all right, you got a large increase there. Right away, you know something's going on right there. Well, just give me 1 second. You as an IT guy or the finance guy can look at that and say, oh yeah, we increased the bandwidth there. Maybe shoot a note off to your finance guy to let him know, the owner of the company knows, so nobody gets surprised. Long before the finance guy does his reporting to higher levels of the company. This right here is the monthly invoice button that takes you to the invoice itself. You can put in whatever date you want. These are the different bills and what they billed. You can hover over them and see what bill that was. Here's your year-to-date cost trend, and over here's your cost variance and your year-to-date billing. All just basic information at your fingertips. That's not, you know, what I call, you know, telecom expense management, you know, goo, you know, whatever it is that they put together. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Are you also keeping a service inventory so that, for example, circuit goes down, I need a single portal, I need a single place to go to.
Yes.
Get a circuit ID, trouble reporting number, you know.
Yes.
I log into your portal.
Yes.
There.
Line item. Yes. Trouble reporting. Absolutely. Very good point. The first thing we do when we get those invoices is create an inventory. You got to have an inventory. Without an inventory, you're nowhere. Can't do anything, can't report troubles. You don't know where anything is. Got to have an inventory.
Taking it a step further, I don't suppose you're electronically bonded with carriers to be able to open a trouble ticket from your portal.
We are. We have the capability to do that. Yes, we do.
Okay.
So, okay. We have a NOC. You know, we have a NOC, actually 2 NOCs that we work with. They do that work. Line item. Think line item, right? How much is it worth to the customer? What can we charge the customer for that, right?
And that's an interesting point, right? Your time is valuable. So if you're managing that customer and you can say, look, I'm going to manage your account for a fee per month. That
Yeah.
fee becomes your money. So it's an interesting idea
Yep.
that I've never thought about until today.
What's that?
Some people
Okay.
bill their customers for doing customer support, man. That's
Consolidated billing as a revenue source. I kind of keep bringing this up because I hope that by the end of this presentation, everybody will have a clear understanding. Previously ordered TCG cable service can be added to the invoice. New TCG services. Maybe you've got a cabling business that you do. Technical services, which you just talked about, right? Line item, technical service. Yeah, we'll do your trouble reporting. We'll do this, right there. AT&T cellular service, what we'll talk about. Just about anything legitimate that you want to charge for, we can put on the invoice. And of course, the accelerated % of money flows to you. Okay, I know that you guys couldn't wait and that we got peppered with a few questions, and that's fine. I want to take a break. April's going to pass out a brochure that's online that you guys can download for your customers about the consolidated billing as a service. You heard it here first. But if there's no other questions on that, I'm going to move swiftly to what I got to believe. I'm sorry, go ahead.
How
does it affect commissions? Commission's still gonna flow through you guys?
Yes, so this has nothing to do with your comp statement, so instead of, you know, well, the only thing that changes here is the billing. So like, instead of the customer getting
Okay.
50 bills, they go to them,
Okay.
and then they pay the bill. So the commissions still remain as they are, you get paid, by,
Okay.
you know, by us.
Does the partner leave the commission or residual from DP?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right, so
it's
you're
just
gonna
one
have
more.
a percentage, or the customer pays X amount, they'll pay a little bit more by doing the consolidated billing, and then the partner gets a residual for that piece.
Correct.
We view that as money coming in and we get a commission on that.
And the partner can, in addition,
Including-
add a line item for their own.
Including the special charges that
Services.
he mentioned earlier that you're not getting.
And we'll get into that later in the
Well,
percentages.
he's
and
gonna-
stuff.
Yeah, we're real excited to work with you guys on that, and we want to use you guys, quite frankly, as a beta test to figure out what is it that we can come up with to bill the customers legitimately for services that you guys provide. Okay, instead of all of that money going to those other carriers that claim they have some consolidated billing platform that they never had until all of a sudden they now have, and then they make all that money on all those line items, we're putting it back to you guys and working with you guys to put that back in your hands.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
At what point does the customer pay you for the bill?
Excuse me?
At what point does the customer pay the bill?
Okay, good question. Let me just repeat that in case anybody didn't hear. He asked, at what point does the customer pay our bill? Well, we like them to actually pay about 5 days after we invoice them because we want to collect it as soon as possible. So they're going to have the option, quite frankly, of a credit card payment and or ACH payment, whichever they like, which is common now. That's really the way it's being done now, more than not.
My understanding is that you are, with your process and all the stuff that you go through, you are basically eliminating a lot of the junk fees.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's absolutely the true junk fees. Absolutely, we are eliminating those.
I guess my question is obviously the carriers are going to have some pushback.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if you sign to do business with a particular carrier, and that particular carrier is charging junk fees, oh yeah, we're going to pass that through. It'll just come in on a line item. The total will come in on a line item. For instance, XYZ company that maybe has a bunch of junk fees on it. You're doing business with them. It is what it is. You've signed a contract. Those are junk fees. We can't get rid of those. There's no way we're getting rid of those. Okay, it's our junk fees. We're not.
Here's the situation. What the law says is we cannot change that line item, because the minute we change it, then we're into resale. We're an accounting process. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't look at those charges and say, these are not legitimate charges, okay? In other words, we know carriers right now out there charging 7, 8, 9%, and they're actually not supposed to be charging those kind of fees.
Okay.
So if we go back to the contract and we realize that it is a 3% differential here, then we can go back to the carrier and get that credit back. As soon as we adjust it on the invoice, then we can bill it through.
So,
And we can
so
bill
in
the
other words,
adjustment.
you're going again, you're taking what they're actually paying versus what they should be paying based on the contract.
Yes, we'll audit it. Yeah, there's an audit fee, right?
Doing the audit fee.
If you've got the audit, right? If you're asking us and saying, okay, hey, you know what? You told us we could save $1,000 here by the audit process. We want the audit process, right? Then we'll charge on a monthly basis for the audit fee, and then we'll work with the carriers to get rid of whatever fees we can get rid of and whatever charges. So yeah, we'll do that. But some of them they're not getting rid of. I mean, some of them they're just saying that's it. You know,
Well, that's my question.
Yeah.
I mean, how receptive have they been to accepting?
Well, that I will tell you that from experience that a lot of them you can get rid of and a lot of them you can't. You know, it's just a matter of what they're willing to, how far they're willing to bend on a lot of that stuff. I mean, some of them are really innocuous or just very, you know, you've got to get tax attorneys or real deep into some of that stuff. So all the silly ones like, paper invoices, charging $9 for a paper invoice, and stuff like that. The easy ones we can audit and get rid of. Nobody's better than us. We got Fortune 100 companies that we audit, and so we've got that down. Nobody does it better than us as far as the audit goes.
I'm seeing that large companies are sitting on invoices 45 to 60 days before paying it, regardless of who it comes from. It's just part of their process. How do you handle a situation like that?
Wow. I don't like to hear that at all. That's certainly going to keep you from getting your commissions now, isn't it? Yeah. No, we don't like that. We want them to pay right away. We go the other way. If we're paying these invoices up front, okay, we're going to want to collect it sooner.
You want it, right?
Yeah.
But will they do it, and how do you respond to that?
We'll have to take it on a case-by-case basis. But honestly, it's if we're paying the invoice up front, we're going to want it back quickly. Okay, that's part of the service.
You're only
And
taking
that-
payments via ACH?
our payments, yeah.
Credit card, right?
Yes,
So it's
yes.
gonna go through regardless.
That's right. But keep in mind, that's our business. Our business is to collect it as quickly as we can because we're paying it out front.
Right.
So they have to buy into that. You got to sell that to your customers and say, look, they're paying the bill up front. They're going to want the money up front. And it's all in your best interest so that you can get paid too, because there ain't nobody going to pay commissions out there if we don't have the money in-house, right?
Well, a lot of the hesitancy a lot of times is that they question the invoice whether it's accurate or not. So that's one issue. The other issue was that he had a
Actually,
customer.
the more common scenario is they play the float game, right?
Right.
So they're gonna sit on the invoice as long as they possibly can. I mean, I've got half a dozen very large companies, and that's what they do.
Yeah,
They just-
but the thing about it is, they're not getting a dashboard, and they're not seeing the impact of their business before it hits their bottom line.
So they don't care about
And
the
they're
fact.
just-
And they may not care, and they might not be a good customer for us. It may not be. Yeah.
It's not negotiable. I
Yeah.
mean, he had a customer that said, look, we need so many days, okay? Okay, you got so many days, but on that day, you're gonna get a bill, we're gonna take the money out of the account, okay? Then the guy comes in, and he's got a stack of invoices this big that he's now processing, okay? And says, here, now they're your problem, basically.
So, yeah, but
So
the-
it's
yeah.
negotiable.
I got you, okay.
Go ahead.
Are you even a private label?
We're entertaining it. So, yeah, if we could, we could have an appointment on that afterwards, talk about that. Yeah.
Second question, what are your fees to consolidate?
Well, here's and again, that's another excellent question there. What I'd like to do is, rather than get too much into the pricing right now, we've got a promotional product wrapped around this that we're going to deliver to you guys. So it's an entry-level thing, really, really inexpensive, and we're gonna have that out to you guys. For those of you who have the interest, like I said, we're looking for hopefully 10 of you guys that say, hey, listen, I got a real opportunity for this, let's go. And so we'd like to do that on a one-on-one basis, if that's okay? Okay. All right. Anything else? It's good that there's questions. Hi.
With all the people working from home at this point, do you guys do residential billing as well? How do you handle that?
If you got an invoice, bring it our way. Yeah. Somebody else?
So the service only limited to telecommunications, or it's other product, let's say waste or electrical bills or whatever?
It's funny you mention that because years ago we did, we had one customer at 60 locations, and they asked us, they said, hey, what about the electric? What can you do with the electric? And, I was a little inclined not to do it, but, they're a very good customer. They pay very, very well. And I said, okay, well, we'll do that. And we still do it to this day. We still do their electrical bills. And God, what a pain. It's not something that we're going to audit. We don't audit electric bills. And we told them that. We said, this is just purely a bill pay thing. So I'm inclined to say no, but, with my boss over here, we'll maybe we'll see. We'll see. So.
And you can enter anything on an ICB. You'll get a form at the end of this. And as far as pricing is concerned, we have package A for up to, so many invoices, 5 invoices, and then you have a package B for 10 invoices, okay? And then basically, you'll have line items that you can add to that, depending on what you want to do, right? That's the way the pricing is structured. But anything that you think that we could do, that we can bill, okay, you put it on an ICB, and we'll include it, and we'll get back to you with, what we think we can do with it. I mean, if it could be as simple as just adding a line to a bill, on the other side of the coin, it may be an aggregate that we want these charges.
10 minutes,
charged
okay. Okay.
Like, for example, there was a carrier here, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, that charges $50 a location, to do whatever, all right? So there are charges, there's room that we can customize that particular bill. If you're doing something for a particular customer, you feel you need a line item, you can put it in.
Okay, Henry, in the interest of time, let me get through. Okay, so I'm going to shift gears here for a second. And again, I'm going to tell you, if you got nothing out of this presentation today, please listen carefully, because this is a easy, no-brainer offer that we have. AT&T Mobility, right? You all have your go-to AT&T, if somebody needs a phone or this or that. How are we different, right? What makes this opportunity better? Well, remember, we're a TEM company, right? We're a telecom expense management company. So we've got all the resources to do optimization. So you give us 2 invoices of your customers that we'll go ahead and optimize those. We'll obtain an estimate of your customers' mobility savings based on our AT&T Mobility wholesale rates. We'll spit that back to you and the customer in the form of a quote or an order for your customer to sign, and create a seamless transition to fantastic savings. We're doing it now, and it's working out really, really well. It's a simplified order processing and invoicing. There's basically, on the customer side, there's nothing for them to really do, because they don't need to replace their smartphones. They don't need to buy new SIM cards. It's basically down and away with this AT&T band number and onto DP Access's platform. The invoice with plan reduction charges go from the AT&T invoice to DP Access. Okay. Here's a case study. Okay. This is a customer that had 120 AT&T devices. They basically saved about 20%, along with the agent on this, making about $500 a month. Okay, the customer received savings upon migration from the existing band from AT&T to DP Access. Billing migration requires no changes on the customer's part. It's a simple paper change. Okay, and it happens within a month. It's really quick. Okay, because this is merely a billing or paper change, there's no change on the network. All the end users don't even know what happened. Okay.
Is there a recurring revenue stream for us?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's a recurring revenue. Right, and a nice sized one, depending on how much savings there is. So I'm telling you guys, go stop what you're doing, go back, find out which customers have AT&T Mobility, get it to us. We do all the work, we do all the optimization, and it's golden. You're golden. Okay, more about mobility. Once they're a customer, then they've got DP Access Solutions Provider Portal, where once their first bill comes out, you can go sit down with them, say, here's your portal. If you need to order more iPhones, you get to pick out the device the customer requires, what plan they want, and you're good to go. A little more on AT&T. As Henry said, we're an AT&T solutions provider, right? So what? There's a bunch of them out there. But, like Henry says, Henry's been in this business an awfully long time. I'm sure there's a bunch of you guys, folks in this room that have clearly benefited from the advice and the consultation that he's given you in the past. We're not going anywhere. We're rolling this out. Please give us the opportunity to bid on your MIS service, on your AT&T internet, cellular, UVerse, whatever you got. Okay, give us the opportunity. All you TCG agents, think about us and get that to us. Go ahead.
So currently I have a customer with about a $7,500 a month mobility plan, not including GPSs for vehicles. In December, we want to entertain moving from Sprint
possibly AT&T, possibly Verizon. That's already put on my plate.
Excellent.
So you guys, at that point, we could talk about AT&T, all the features possible, rather than me going to the national manager and dealing with that way.
Absolutely.
We have master agent level of reselling with you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll take those two invoices.
I'm definitely gonna wanna get my card before.
Okay, yeah. We'll take those two invoices, we'll do an optimization on it, you'll have the, a document that
We
basically.
have Sprint, we're not with AT&T.
Yeah, I know, but we know what they bill, we know. I mean, Sprint, for as long as I've been in this business and opening up the Sprint branch with Henry down in Miami years ago, God help me how those people can stay in business. I have no idea how they stayed in business, I have no idea. So, with the prices they charge. Okay, so.
With AT&T services,
Pretty much.
like IP Flex,
Yeah, IP Flex, yeah.
but you're paying us in a monthly as opposed to a one-time?
That's correct. Yes. Okay. So last but not least, I know Dan's going to shoo me off here. Vehicle asset tracking. This is the Internet of Things thing. You have to have your something in your hand, your foot, or whatever into Internet of Things. This is one that we were keen on getting because there's a mandate, a federal mandate that the large trucks certainly have to have this vehicle tracking. But if you look at the smaller trucks, I mean, many of your customers probably have a fleet of trucks. There's a big push now for security on these trucks. Where are they? What are they doing? Real quick story. My wife, God bless her, I love her. She's got to be upgrading, right? Making the bathroom current, right? What are they? So we're putting in tile. The tile guy's there. I got an immediate need for electrical work. I say to him, hey, you know an electrician? He says, yeah, call Bob. I call Bob. Bob comes over. He's got a truck that says Rizzo on it, right? But he comes over at 4 p.m. from his job to scope out my work. Right? And then, so he says, well, you just need this other part. Go to Home Depot, I'll come back at 7 and do it. So then he goes back to his other job, which is that's by Rizzo Electronics, and then he comes back to me and finishes off my job at 7 o'clock. Well, if I'm Rizzo, maybe I want to know where this guy's going and what he's doing and why he's bugging out at 4 o'clock to go do a job somewhere else that I paid him $40 cash to do. All that type of thing. There's a big push for safety on these trucks. They want to know where they are, what they're doing, if they're bad drivers, and so forth. This is a great, great tool, super easy to install, put in. Vehicle tracking asset, alert bad driver behavior. You really should see a little demo of it to get the grasp the true benefit that it has. And that is.
Do you need internet on that car? Is it through a 3G?
No, it's. I think it's actually 3G is what it is.
3G?
Yeah.
So it's in your device?
It's a little plug-in device. That's really about all it is. It's fantastic.
Into what? Plugs into what?
The little outlet that the mechanics use to diagnose your car. So any car that's over a 96 or something has it. It's as easy as plugging in your iPhone charger. It's really easy. Okay.
Do you know the pricing offhand?
Yeah, we have pricing, and again, what I want to do is I want to.
Don't ask a pricing question.
Yeah, we'll never get out of here. Dan will be yelling at me. So yeah, we're gonna.
Let me just point out one thing here on this last chart. Your biggest competitor to this service is the company's accountant. And the reason that the company accountant is the biggest competitor is because when the decision maker, whoever that is, calls the accountant and says to them, hey, we're going to give them this report, and we're going to pay this for it, and it's going to do this, this, and this, they're going to say, oh, you don't need to do that, okay? Because we're going to, this is not a good picture, but this is what this is a Quickbooks summary screen. The way this works is this screen is the percentages that go into this screen. Okay, basically this is a pie, this turns into a pie, and it shows your percent of expense in these categories. When you get this, you're finished. The month's done. You closed out. This is your profit and loss statement. What you want to know is you want to see that window before you get to that final sheet. because it's that window that's gonna allow you to identify those lines in there to show you that where you're gonna get hit from. So if you got 10 locations that the carrier, and I'm not gonna name anyone that does it all the time, increases those invoices and doesn't tell you or got hidden in the fine print, all right, and all of a sudden it's being charged to you, you don't wanna find out when that final pie comes out and you find out that the money is already committed to that carrier. You want the opportunity to see the window so that you know that if the carrier isn't living up to the expectations of their commitment, you've got enough time to move that carrier to somebody else because they're in violation of their agreement.
Yeah, there's usually two decision makers. One is the IT guy that can't stand talking to telephone companies, and the other one, of course, is the finance guy who can't stand all those invoices flooding his accounts payable or receivables. On that, I think we're done,
Yeah,
Dan.
all right.
Thank you very much.
You know, guys.